So, about 2 weeks ago, at the end of October, Alan Wake 2 was released. Alan Wake 2 is a sequel to Alan Wake and Alan Wake's American Nightmare, which is kind of a spin-off of the original Alan Wake. And Alan Wake as a series has been quite clearly inspired by the likes of Stephen King's work, and more notably for this video, Twin Peaks. I'm a big fan of Twin Peaks, and I wanted to just have a small discussion as to all the nice little Twin Peaks references that I found along the way. I haven't finished Alan Wake 2 yet, so I'm sure I'll find more, but this is just fresh from last night's gameplay. So both Twin Peaks and Alan Wake are based in a town in Northwest America, the Pacific Northwest. I think they're both based in Washington State. I know that Twin Peaks is based in Washington State because I've been there, in a town called Snoqualmie. I guess that's how you pronounce it. I've been to the real diner, the real Twin Peaks diner, which isn't called what it's called in the show. Anyway, that's not the point. So both game and TV series is based in a town in Pacific Northwest. So straight up you've got the same surroundings, such as the dense forest and the mist. And I think it's very effective to see both of those in action. So that's probably the most obvious comparison. There's a few other things that come with being based in a place like this, such as there's a trailer park in both, which I don't know if that's common in the Pacific Northwest to have trailer parks everywhere, but other similarities between Twin Peaks, the town, and the town of Bright Falls and Alan Wake. There's a waterfall, there's a lodge, wood cabin, hotel kind of thing, which if you've ever been to one of those, it smells amazing when you're inside, just the wood walls. Highly recommend. My cat is staring at me from down there. Yeah, so if you've watched Twin Peaks and then you're playing Alan Wake 2 especially, and you get to Bright Falls, the town will feel right at home. They've done a great job, especially with the visuals as well, like the ray tracing visuals. The PlayStation 5 definitely showing its age a little bit. Then let's have a quick chat about the story plots, and a few spoilers, minor spoilers for the early game and the whole of Twin Peaks, really. Both Twin Peaks and Alan Wake 2 open with a watery murder. In Alan Wake 2, there's the murder of a man who has just emerged from the lake, and then is kindly murdered by a cult, or what seems to be a cult. And in Twin Peaks, it starts with the the discovery of Laura Palmer's body down by the river. Both of the bodies are then taken to a morgue, and in both shows we have a morgue scene. In Twin Peaks, the lighting of this scene is quite unsettling because the overhead light keeps blinking, and it was a stylistic choice based on, well, was it a choice? Was it David Lynch's idea to have a light flickering, or did they just turn up on set and find the light wasn't working properly? In Alan Wake 2, something similar happened as well. Again, these are very minor comparisons, minor similarities, but these are just things that I picked up on last night. In Alan Wake 2, we have the overlap, which is a space between realms, a space between dimensions or realities. The overlap is first visited by our main character, Saga, and that's where she fights. Not going to spoil anything, but she'll occasionally dip in and out of the overlap, and I believe Alan Wake himself is in the overlap for most of his story, and you could compare the overlap to the Black Lodge in Twin Peaks. The Black Lodge in Twin Peaks is the Red Room that you will most likely have seen, with the stripy floor and the backwards talking people. Kind of in between place between realms, and my interpretation of it is to, kind of like limbo, not quite alive but not quite dead. It's just where people are held while other events take place that will then place them where they need to be. But then the whole idea of in-between dimensions is not uncommon in these types of shows and games. Like, for example, Stranger Things has the Upside Down, which is somewhat similar. Another thing I noticed is that both of our detectives, Saga in Alan Wake 2 and Agent Cooper in Twin Peaks, both solve cases in peculiar ways. Saga uses the Mind Palace. It's a recreation of her field office, where she's got the evidence and she's putting the clues together, but she also uses a form of premonition to determine if the suspects or the interviewees are being accurate or have more to say. The one for Agent Cooper in Twin Peaks that stands out for me is the solving the case in the first season of Twin Peaks at Glastonbury, which is not the festival in England. It's a place that exists in the Twin Peaks universe. Glastonbury. Another thing that I noticed, one of the main characters in Alan Wake 2, specifically Alan Wake himself, has an alter ego known as Mr. Scratch, who resembles Alan Wake very closely and may turn out to be Alan Wake. I've not got that far in the story. In the Twin Peaks universe, in the season 3 return of Twin Peaks, we have Dark Coop, or one of his other names, but it's our lead detective from seasons 1 and 2 who has come back to Earth or this dimension as Dark Cooper, a very evil doppelganger of Agent Cooper, and is embodied by the big bad, I guess, of Twin Peaks. So when I was exploring the hotel lodge place in Alan Wake 2 in Bright Falls, I found a man having a bit of a dance to no particular music, and that was very reminiscent of Leland having a very peculiar dance, quite famously from the first season of Twin Peaks. I also found a hotel room that belonged to either Saga, the main detective person, or her partner, which, other than the bathroom being quite different, the main bedroom looked very similar to the one that Agent Cooper lived in for most of the first season of Twin Peaks.
Friends, huh?
And the final thing I wanted to mention is music. Music plays a big part in both Twin Peaks and Alan Wake. It's one of the reasons that I love Twin Peaks so much in the first place. Not only is the soundtrack very perfect for the show, but at the end of each episode, or most episodes in season 3, we have a live performance from the Twin Peaks bar by a band or an artist. Most infamously, there's a performance by the Nine Inch Nails. And at the end of each chapter in Alan Wake 2, we have a really good piece of music in the same sort of way. And it allows you to listen to the entire song if you want, or you can skip it, but it's just they've clearly put in the effort to draw attention to these songs, and the lyrics are relevant to what's going on in the story at that time as well. There are places where the similarities end. Specifically, I've not really talked about the story and the main plot of both of these shows, because Alan Wake 2 is kind of presented like a TV show. I guess that in itself is similar to Twin Peaks, because Twin Peaks originally set out to satire the detective episodic TV shows of the time, and Alan Wake 2 seems to be playing with the narrative of video games and TV shows and films quite heavily. I'm not at a position, I've not completed the game yet, so I'm not in a position to go into much detail on that. The main story behind Twin Peaks, like the inciting incident, is similar, with Laura Palmer being found, but the ongoing storyline is quite different, in that Alan Wake 2 is about an author's work coming to life, or already has come to life, and he's discovering the pages of what he'd written before, or hasn't written yet, whereas Twin Peaks is about evil incarnate, is about the source of evil and how we need evil to be good, and there needs to be a balance in place somewhere. But then Twin Peaks had a lot more hours to play with. So yeah, these are just a few things that I've picked up on. Short video, just a little thought for the day. If you've seen any other comparisons that I might have missed, please let me know in the comments, and do recommend checking out both Twin Peaks if you missed it somehow, or if you're into your video games. Alan Wake 2 is fantastic and definitely a breath of fresh air. Kind of horrid, corrupt, distrusting air after my completion of Final Fantasy XVI, which took a very long time, and I was essentially numb to the story by the end, which happens for me with games that take that long to complete. And then jumping straight into Alan Wake 2 at midnight was perfect. Just straight into a completely fresh story, and with all the horror beats that I really enjoy in games, and the creepiness from Twin Peaks. So recommend strongly. If you haven't played Alan Wake 1, it's not essential. You won't be missing much of the story if you don't play that first. If you have a choice, I recommend you play a game called Control, which is in the same universe and is connected quite closely with Alan Wake, both the first and the second game. So I'd recommend checking Control out first. It's available quite cheaply these days, or on PS Plus maybe, or X Game Pass. If you found this in any way insightful, bearing in mind I have very little idea what I'm talking about, so I haven't completed Alan Wake 2 yet, please feel free to let me know in the comments. Give me a like and subscribe and all that stuff. Yeah, anyway, I'm out of breath from talking for 15 minutes. Have a lovely day. And also, weather update from Manchester, it is sunny. Although I expect that will change in about